Just like many of you, sometimes I fall behind in my projects, but this is me trying to get a little caught up. Hey friends, welcome back to my sewing room. My name is Becca. In today's video, we're going to put together block number 7 for the Bliss quilt along. When the block is all put together, it's going to look something like this, hopefully, as long as we follow the directions. This is a block of the month that is included for free in your Sew Sampler boxes that began shipping in April of 2022 and will end in March 2023. I haven't got my March 2023 box yet, so technically the project has not wrapped. So although I'm behind, it's still an active sew along. This is a free pattern that you get in your Sew Sampler boxes, but if at any time during any of these videos that I'm doing for you, you decide this is a quilt you want to make, you can buy the patterns from Fat Quarter Shop, and I will link them in the description box down below. I already have all of my fabric cut out, and because this isn't my pattern, I can't give you the cutting instructions. So throughout the rest of this video, I'm going to refer to the fabric the way the pattern does. Fabric A, B, C, D, etc. You get the point. Let's dive in and get sewing. Step number 1 is going to have us take all 8 of our fabric A and our fabric C squares to make half square triangle units. We're going to draw a line from one corner to the other corner on the wrong side of one of those fabrics. It can be fabric A or fabric C, it doesn't matter which one. Then we're going to pair our fabric A and our fabric C squares together, right sides together, take them to our sewing machine, and we're going to stitch a 1/4 inch away on either side of that line. Once the stitching is all done, then we'll go back to our cutting mat. We will cut on that line that we drew, and that's going to yield 2 half square triangle units for each set that we sewed together. We can then press these open. It wants us to press the seam underneath fabric C. If you choose to press the seam completely open, that is your preference. You can do that as well. Now, when I square up a half square triangle unit, what I do is I get a square ruler that is at least the size that I'm going to square up to. I find the 45-degree line that is on that ruler, and I lay it right on top of the seam. I am also looking for the size that I want to square to, looking for that measurement on the left side and along the bottom of my ruler, and I'm making sure that my fabric touches or extends past that measurement, and that the fabric also touches or extends past the top and the right side of the ruler. I'm going to clean up the right edge and then the top edge, and then I'll flip it around and clean up the other 2 edges. When I flip it around, that nice clean edge that I made during my first pass of cutting will now meet at the lines that I'm going to square up to. When you square up your half square triangle units, you really want to pay attention to that 45-degree line. The most important part of your half square triangle unit is that where the 2 fabrics meet, fabric A and fabric C, they are coming precisely to the corner on each end of that line. So if your seam is a little bit wobbly and you can't get the 45-degree line to lay perfectly on top of your seam, it is better that the ends of that line are on the 45-degree line and your wobbliness is in the middle, because those pieces in the corners are going to be what helps you keep your point in the block when it's all done. Once you have all 16 of those half square triangle units pressed, you're going to take all of them and assemble 4 pinwheel blocks. You want to make sure that you're paying very close attention to the block, because if you'll notice, the half square triangle unit in the upper left position needs to have your fabric C pointing up and to the right and your fabric A pointing down and to the left. Once you have that unit laid out correctly, then you just want to make sure that you're alternating colors. So you're going white, blue, white, blue, all the way around, and all of the points are coming into the center. To put this together, you're going to sew the seam for the top row and the bottom row, and it does say to press these 2 seams open, and then you're going to put the 2 rows together and you're going to press that seam open. You're going to do this 4 times and then square it up. To make things easier and to make sure I don't mess stuff up, I like to lay out all of my half square triangle units so that I basically have 4 stacks of fabrics going in the direction they need to be to build out my 4 pinwheel blocks. Those pinwheel blocks were honestly 90% of the block. The next step is going to be a bit of a relief because we're just going to make some 2 patches. We're going to grab our fabric B and our fabric D, and we're going to sew them right sides together a 1/4 inch away from the edge of the fabric. Once sewn together, you're going to press the seam open, square up if needed, and now we're ready to assemble our block. To assemble our block, we're going to take those strip units that we just made and lay them out so that our fabric B, which is our background square of the 2 patch, is always pointing to the outside. Then we're going to come in with our pinwheels and we're going to lay those in the 4 corners of the block. And finally, we'll grab our fabric E and put that right in the center. And now what we have is basically a 9 patch. We're just going to sew our top, bottom, and middle rows together, and then we're going to sew the rows together. Once we sew the top row, we're going to press the seams in towards the middle. The bottom row, we're going to press the seam in towards the middle, and then the middle row, we're going to press the seam to the outside. That'll allow the top row and the bottom row to nest up nicely with that center row. For those of you curious about how I start, I've gotten this question quite a bit recently. If I have fabric that has enough room, about a 1/2 inch-ish, to allow for shrinkage, then I will starch before I cut, and then I'll starch after I've put the block together, and then I'll starch again when the whole quilt top is done. If I have fabric that does not have any room for any shrinkage anywhere, then I don't starch until the whole quilt top is put together. I just use a hot, dry iron and a clapper to get it as flat as possible. And so there you have it. This is block number 7 for the Bliss quilt along. It was a little finicky in the beginning because of those pinwheel blocks, but after those were put together, this went together super, super fast. We are more than halfway through having these quilt blocks completed, and soon, hopefully, we'll be on our way to putting the entire quilt top together and getting it loaded on the long arm. Thanks so much for watching this tutorial, friends. I'll see you guys all in the next video. Bye!